You know what's wild? We all say we want success, but if I asked you to show me how your time reflects that, most people couldn't. Because success doesn't start with luck. It starts with minutes. Every moment you waste, someone else is using to move forward. And the truth, it's not that we don't have time. It's that we don't use it right. So today, let's change that. Let's talk about how to spend your time wisely, not just to get more done, but to actually build the life you keep saying you want. You can't spend your time wisely until you know where it's actually going. That's where it all begins. Awareness. See, most people walk through their days thinking they're just busy, but business doesn't equal productivity, and it definitely doesn't equal progress. We tell ourselves, I didn't have time, when the truth is we didn't see where our time went. We scroll, we multitask, we jump between things that feel urgent but aren't important, and then we wonder why the days feel shorter and our goals feel further away. If I asked you right now, where did your last 3 hours go? Could you answer confidently? Most people can't. And that's not judgment. That's reality, because time slips through the cracks quietly. It doesn't scream for attention like an alarm. It just fades while we're distracted. That's why the first step to spending your time wisely isn't some productivity hack or a perfect morning routine. It's awareness. You can't change what you won't face. When you start to really look at where your time goes, you might not like what you see at first. Maybe too much of it went into distractions that gave nothing back. Maybe it went into conversations that drained your energy instead of building your vision. But that's okay. That's the point. Awareness isn't about guilt. It's about clarity. You can't manage what you don't measure. And once you measure it, you gain the power to redirect it. Start simple. For 1 week, just observe your days. No judgment. No, I should have done better. Just track. Where did you spend your minutes? What pulled your focus? Who got your energy? You'll be amazed at how much of your day gets swallowed by things that don't move you an inch closer to where you want to be. That clarity alone will change your life. Think about it like money. If someone gave you or $24,000 every day and every dollar represented a minute, you'd probably want to know where it all went, right? You'd track it, you'd spend it carefully, you'd make it count. But time, we spend it like it's unlimited. We act like tomorrow's guaranteed. It's not. And that's not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up, because if time is the currency of success, then awareness is your first investment. Now, here's where most people get stuck. They confuse awareness with overanalyzing. This isn't about controlling every second of your life. It's about getting honest with yourself. Maybe you realize you spend 2 hours a night scrolling your phone. Maybe you see that you procrastinate, not because you're lazy, but because you're avoiding something uncomfortable. That awareness is power. Because once you see the truth, you can change it. And here's something to understand. Awareness hurts before it heals. It's uncomfortable to notice how much time you waste. But it's also freeing because it shows you the gap between who you are and who you're becoming. Once you face that, you'll start to make better choices automatically. You'll stop saying, I don't have time, and start saying, that's not my priority. That shift alone separates the successful from the stuck. Awareness also brings gratitude. When you realize how fast time moves, you start valuing the small moments more. You notice the sunrise on your way to work. You feel the quiet of your morning coffee. You stop rushing through your life and start living in it. That's wisdom. Not just managing time, but honoring it. So ask yourself, are you living your day, or is your day living you? Because the truth is, time doesn't just slip away. We hand it away minute by minute to things that don't deserve it. The world will always give you 100 ways to spend your time, but awareness gives you the power to choose. Success isn't about having more hours. It's about being intentional with the hours you have. And the people who win at life, they aren't the ones who do the most. They're the ones who notice the most. They notice what drains them. They notice what inspires them, and they spend their time accordingly. So before you change your habits, before you chase your goals, before you build that routine you've been putting off, stop, just notice. Watch where your time goes this week. Let that awareness hit, because once you see your time clearly, you'll never spend it carelessly again. Most people confuse motion with progress. They wake up, they move, they check boxes. They call it productivity. But success isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. You can fill your day with endless tasks, meetings, errands, and distractions. And at the end of it, feel exhausted and empty because none of it actually moved you closer to your goals. That's the trap so many people fall into. We're busy, but we're not focused. And without focus, time becomes a blur and our dreams drift further away. The truth is, if you want to spend your time wisely, you have to define what truly matters first. You have to get really clear on the things that will move your life forward and ignore the rest. Not everything is urgent and not everything is important. There's a difference. Urgency pulls us in every direction, but importance points us in one. And here's the thing, most people spend their lives reacting to the urgent instead of choosing the important. They respond to notifications, answer every call, say yes to every request, and at the end of the week, they wonder why nothing changed. Defining what matters requires honesty. Ask yourself, what are the top priorities in your life right now? Not the nice to haves, not the things that sound good on paper. What truly moves your life forward? Maybe it's building your skills. Maybe it's improving your health. Maybe it's nurturing relationships that elevate you. Maybe it's focusing on a single project that could change everything. Whatever it is, identify it, write it down. Make it unavoidable, because when you know what matters, making decisions about how you spend your time becomes simple. Here's a powerful point most people overlook. Saying yes to what matters automatically means saying no to what doesn't. That's hard for a lot of people. We're wired to want to please others, to chase opportunities, to stay in the loop. But here's the truth. Every yes has a cost. Every time you say yes to something that isn't important, you take time away from something that is. And time, unlike money, is non-renewable. Once it's gone, it's gone. Protecting your focus isn't selfish, it's strategic. It's how winners operate. It's how people who create meaningful results operate. They know what's important and guard it fiercely. Now, focus isn't just about saying no. It's also about commitment. It's about giving your best hours to your most important priorities, not just any hours, but your prime hours, the time of day when your energy, clarity, and creativity are at their peak. For some people, that's the morning. For others, it's late at night. But whatever it is, identify it. Those are your hours for deep work, for building, for creating. Protect them like you would protect a vault of gold. Because if you spend your best hours on meaningless tasks, you'll never get closer to your goals no matter how busy you are. The power of focus also multiplies over time. When you concentrate on what truly matters, you create momentum, you build skill, knowledge, and results that compound. 1 hour of focused work today is worth far more than 10 scattered hours. One small, consistent action toward what matters can create breakthroughs that months of frantic business never will. That's why it's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things consistently. And let me tell you something, clarity about what matters also gives you peace. You stop feeling pulled in every direction. You stop getting overwhelmed by endless to dose and distractions. Your energy isn't scattered anymore. You know what you're here to build, and every choice you make either aligns with that or doesn't. That simplicity is liberating, and it makes success feel achievable instead of impossible. Here's the catch, though. Identifying what matters is not a one-time exercise. Your priorities shift as you grow, as your circumstances change, as your vision expands. That's why reflection is so important. Regularly check in with yourself. Ask, am I spending my time on what really matters, or am I just filling it with noise? Honest answers will keep you on track and prevent you from drifting back into business without purpose. So here's the point. Success isn't about doing more. It's about doing what counts. It's about clarity, focus, and the courage to say no to everything that distracts you from what matters. When you define your priorities and guard them fiercely, every minute you spend becomes an investment. Every action becomes meaningful. And that is how ordinary days turn into extraordinary results. Every yes you give comes with a cost. It doesn't matter how small it feels. Every yes is time, focus, and energy taken from something else. And most people don't realize it until years later. They've said yes to everything, every favor, every request, every opportunity that seemed okay in the moment. And suddenly they have no time left for what really matters. Success isn't about doing it all. It's about doing what counts. And that starts with learning the art of saying no. Saying no isn't easy, We're taught from a young age that saying yes is good, that pleasing people is virtuous. That opportunity is everywhere and should never be passed up. But here's the truth: saying yes to everything is the fastest way to nothing. It dilutes your focus, drains your energy, and leaves you exhausted at the end of the day with little to show for it. The people who achieve their goals are not the ones who are constantly busy. They're the ones who carefully choose what to say yes to and have the courage to say no to the rest. Think about it for a moment. Every yes is like signing a contract for a piece of your life. Once it's gone, you can't get it back. If you say yes to something that doesn't serve your goals or your growth, you are actively stealing time from yourself. And time is the only currency you can never earn back. Money can be regained. Opportunities can arise again, but a wasted hour is lost forever. That's why protecting your energy and your focus is not selfish. It's strategic. It's how winners operate. Learning to say no doesn't mean shutting yourself off from the world or avoiding responsibilities. It means being intentional about where your energy goes. It means understanding the difference between obligation and opportunity, between distraction and investment. It means being honest with yourself about what will actually move your life forward. And when you begin to make these distinctions, everything changes. Suddenly, your calendar stops controlling you and you start controlling your calendar. You start spending your time on things that actually matter. Most people underestimate how freeing this can be. When you stop saying yes to every demand, your mind clears, your energy grows. You find space for deep work, for reflection, for creativity. You begin to operate at a higher level because you're no longer scattering yourself across 100 meaningless tasks. You're concentrated, intentional, focused. And focus is the secret weapon of success. It's what transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. The hardest part about saying no is dealing with the guilt. We feel like we're letting people down, missing opportunities, or somehow failing socially. But here's the reality: the people who matter, the ones who truly value you and your contributions, will understand when you say no. And the people who don't will never be worth your yes anyway. Protecting your time and energy isn't rude or selfish. It's necessary. Because if you can't guard yourself, you can't serve anything else effectively. And here's something most people don't realize: learning to say no is a muscle. The first few times it feels awkward, uncomfortable, even scary. But the more you do it, the stronger it gets. Every no you give is like building armor for your focus and clarity. It's not about closing doors. It's about keeping the right doors open. You're not rejecting life. You're accepting responsibility for your own growth. You're saying yes to what actually matters, and that is far more powerful than saying yes to everything. When you practice this consistently, you'll notice a shift. People begin to respect your time. Opportunities start coming to you that align with your priorities. And most importantly, you stop feeling like you're running on empty all the time. Energy is finite and attention is finite. Protecting them both is how success becomes sustainable, how your days start building toward the life you want instead of just slipping by unnoticed. So start today. Begin noticing where your yeses are costing you. Begin setting boundaries with clarity and courage. It's not always easy, but it's essential. The difference between those who achieve and those who drift isn't talent, luck, or even hard work. It's the discipline to protect their energy, the courage to say no, and the wisdom to focus relentlessly on what truly matters. Success isn't built in bursts. It's not about one massive effort or one night of grinding until your fingers ache and your mind burns. Most people think it's about that. The all-nighters, the last-minute rush, the desperate hustle. But here's the truth: consistency beats intensity every single time. Small, intentional actions, repeated day after day, create momentum that can't be stopped. And that's what turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Think about it like a river carving through rock. It's not the first drop that makes a difference. It's the steady flow year after year that shapes landscapes. Your daily habits, your routines, your commitment to showing up, that's the river. Every small choice compounds. Every action matters more than you think. And when you begin to focus on consistent effort rather than occasional explosions of energy, you start building momentum that carries you forward even when motivation fades. The people who succeed don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems and routines. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. You can feel motivated one morning and drained the next. But discipline, structure, and habit, those are constant. Those are what allow you to make progress even on days when you don't feel like it. Consistency is what bridges the gap between dreams and reality. And here's the thing, momentum compounds in unexpected ways. One small win leads to another. One day of showing up makes it easier to show up the next. You don't have to move mountains in a single day. You just have to keep moving in the right direction. Over time, those small, consistent steps create results that feel disproportionate to the effort. That's the magic of momentum. That's the secret that most people overlook while they chase short-term results that never last. Building routines isn't about restriction or rigidity. It's about designing your day so that success becomes natural, almost automatic. Decide what matters most, decide when and how you will work on it, and then commit to it daily. Make it non-negotiable. Your future self will thank you because each repeated action builds strength, skill, and confidence. That's how ordinary days transform into extraordinary outcomes. The beauty of routines is also psychological. When you show up consistently, your mind and body begin to expect it. You train yourself to perform at a higher level without struggle. You reduce decision fatigue because your actions become habits. You remove excuses because the path is clear. And as you build that momentum, you gain clarity about what works, what doesn't, and what deserves more of your time and energy. That clarity is priceless. But consistency isn't just about doing more. It's about doing better. It's about refining your actions, learning from mistakes, and improving every day. You can't just repeat the same thing and hope for a different result. Reflection, adjustment, and improvement are part of the rhythm. That's how you take consistent effort and turn it into mastery. Without it, you're just spinning your wheels. With it, you're accelerating toward your goals. And here's a point most people miss: small, consistent effort is sustainable. Intense bursts of work may burn bright for a week, a month, or even a year, but they always fade. Eventually, exhaustion, frustration, or life itself interrupts. But steady, repeatable actions, those are life proof. Those survive setbacks, challenges, and distractions. They don't require extreme willpower because they become part of who you are. That's why champions, leaders, and high achievers aren't the ones who try harder. They're the ones who try every day. So start where you are with what you have and commit to consistency. Identify the small, meaningful actions that will move your life forward and do them every day. Protect that time, protect that energy, and let momentum build. Success doesn't come from dramatic displays. It comes from quiet, repeated effort. It comes from showing up over and over when no one is watching. It comes from trusting that your small, consistent steps will eventually carry you farther than you ever imagined. Spending your time wisely isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's not just about making a plan in the morning or checking a few boxes on your to-do list. It's about creating a rhythm of reflection, refinement, and repetition that keeps your life moving in the direction you want it to go. Every evening, every pause, every quiet moment you take to evaluate how you spent your day becomes an opportunity to learn, adjust, and improve. That's the secret most people miss. Time is only truly powerful when it's intentional, and intention grows through reflection. At the end of each day, ask yourself the simple question: did I invest my time, or did I just spend it? This is not about judgment, and it's not about guilt. It's about clarity. Most people live in a blur, moving from task to task without ever stopping to see if what they're doing actually matters. But when you pause and reflect, you begin to notice patterns. You see where your energy goes, where your focus drifts, and where the opportunities for growth are hiding. That insight is like a map for your life. It shows you where to double down and where to step back. Reflection also teaches accountability. It forces you to own your choices, to see the consequences of how you spend your minutes. Every distraction, every procrastination, every half-hearted effort becomes visible. And once it's visible, it's no longer invisible power working against you. It's something you can change. Accountability isn't punishment. It's freedom. It's the freedom to shape your life, to reclaim time that might otherwise slip through your fingers unnoticed. But reflection alone isn't enough. You have to refine. You have to take what you learned and make adjustments. Did certain tasks take longer than expected? Did certain habits drain you instead of energizing you? Did you spend time on things that didn't actually move your life forward? Refinement is about asking those questions and making small changes that compound over time. It's about learning from your experience and creating a plan that gets smarter every day. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never make mistakes. They're the ones who notice, adjust, and keep moving forward. Repetition is the final step, and it's what turns intention into habit and habit into results. Every time you reflect and refine, then repeat that process tomorrow, the momentum grows. You start creating a rhythm where success becomes natural, almost inevitable. You stop drifting from one day to the next and start building a life that aligns with your vision. It's not dramatic. It's not flashy. It's quiet, steady, and powerful. And it works because it compounds. The lessons you learn, the adjustments you make, the consistent actions you take. Over time, they multiply into results that far exceed what any single day could achieve. This process also keeps you aligned with your priorities. Life is unpredictable, distractions are constant, and opportunities are everywhere. Without reflection, refinement, and repetition, it's easy to get pulled in 100 directions. But when you build the habit of checking in with yourself daily, you stay grounded.